Hello, everyone, and welcome to Mind Gap Podcast. Thanks for stopping by. If you like what we make here, please do us a huge solid and hit the like and subscribe button down below. We also live stream the podcast every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Central, and I host a video game live stream on Saturdays at 8 p.m. Central, so come by and hang out. If you're feeling extra giving, please check out our Patreon page. The link is in the description below. Thanks for tuning in, and enjoy the show. Mind Gap Podcast. Hey everybody, welcome to Mind Gap Podcast. I'm Doug.
I'm Justin.
And we are joined this week by two very special guests. We have the hosts of First Encounter Podcasts. If you're not familiar with what that is, do you want to know what that is? It's a video game podcast where two best friends take turns introducing one another to beloved video games that shaped their childhood. Please welcome Chris and Haney.
Wow! Nailed it!
Hell yeah.
Hello.
First try. That's what it feels like, getting it on the first try. Wow.
I was really struggling on Haney's name. We talked about it beforehand, but I told him there's a 50-50 shot I was still going to fuck it up, but I got it. So that's been the show. Thanks for tuning in.
I was impressed by the intro. We have never pulled one of those off, so that was quite nice. I very much enjoyed that.
I think I have about 70 sound clips of Chris saying fucking shit and then just trailing off into something else.
It's good stuff. Well, I'm so thrilled to have you both here. I thoroughly enjoyed your podcast. It came recommended from one of our community members, Wolf. And, we want to talk all about it, but Chris and Haney, welcome. We're very happy to have you here.
Thank you so much for having us.
Oh, look, that was beautiful. You guys you synced up. You could tell you're best friends, just talking.
Known each other way too long.
Way too long. I love it. So before we get started, there we go. Well, I've got the important stuff out. So before we get started,
you need to know something about Doug. He is a master of accents.
Yeah, go ahead. Throw an accent. Make a suggestion. Say an accent.
I forgot every southern accent. Southern.
Now we're talking right there, my friend. Shh. Welcome to the Hillbilly Tavern. Would you like a whiskey? Scottish? Top of the morning to you. Is that Scottish? Pretty close, right? Freedom.
Wait.
That's all I know.
If you don't,
German. Das ist gut. Hey, du hast mich, ja? Ja?
Southern Belle, if I may.
Well, I do declare, Chris, I'm a big fan of that tapestry behind you. I feel like it is very flowery and just straight up, God bless you. Bless your heart for hanging that up there, It's just, it suits
good.
you,
Thank you so much.
Well, that's been Doug Does Accents. Thank you for tuning in.
That was our one segment for the show, for the episode.
Yeah.
What more do you need?
Really?
After that.
Exactly.
That's the show. Just done.
I'm fascinated by accents. Not good at them. And if I do get them, I have them for a little bit and then they disappear. I was doing one the other day. I can't remember how I lost it, but it was terrible. I was trying to keep it going and I'm like, don't know what's happening, but it fell apart and it was very frustrating. But anyway, quick housekeeping, and then we'll get into the show. We'll get into the good stuff. Don't forget to follow us on all our social medias at MindGap Podcast. If you like what we do here and you want to support the podcast, here's a real quick and easy and free thing you can do. Hit like and subscribe on YouTube, youtube.com/MindGapPodcast. It costs you nothing, and it does everything for us. That would be great. We live stream on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Central for the podcast. I host a video game stream on Saturdays at 8 p.m. Central. Come join us for that. If you want to be like, Doug, I've got some extra cash. Fuck inflation. I'm doing okay. You can check out our Patreon, patreon.com/MindGapPodcast. You can subscribe there. Or if you want to check out some merch, head over to redbubble.com, type in MindGap Podcast, all one word, and pick yourself up something nice. And if you join our Patreon, you can be one of the cool people that gets your name called out, such as Tom McIntyre, Richie Armour, Zinni, Slutty Bartfast, and Almighty Crit. Thank you all for subscribing and supporting us. We appreciate you. That has been housekeeping. Now let us
Love those
turn
folks.
our attention over to Chris and Haney. Before we get started, I would also like you to please tell everybody where they can find you, your podcast. Please give them all the details. We'll do it again later, but I want to get it right here at the top of the show.
The nearest dumpster behind your local Taco Bell.
Wow! See, this is what I like. Confidence and self-respect. That's what I love
Eddie,
about it.
We've been over this. You know Taco Bell wouldn't have us.
Yeah, that's true. We are not affiliated with Taco Bell.
We wouldn't dare be affiliated with Taco Bell.
You can find us. I would. You can find us on Twitter at the number one ST Encounter Pod.
Oh, hell yeah.
Nailed it.
That's the good shit.
You can also find us at www.firstencounterpodcast.com. You can find us wherever you get podcasts, Spotify, Apple, Good Pods, any of those wonderful, wonderful podcatchers. You can also follow my personal Twitter at HandEncounter. I post very rarely, but if more people follow me, maybe I'll post more often. Chris, what's your little
I
Twitter?
post less frequently than you. Encounter.
Oh, perfect.
You can find us on YouTube, Instagram,
YouTube too.
Tumblr, Patreon. Yeah.
Specifically
all that good
Patreon.
stuff. Yeah.
If you're going to pick one, pick Patreon.
I would like to see if we could get your guys' accounts to be the most followed, least active accounts on all of Twitter. That would
I
be
dare
that.
you. I dare you. I bet you can't do it. Don't you even try.
You heard it, Internet. You failed already. So, yeah.
Yeah, way to go, Internet. Way to not hold up your end of the bargain, you bastards. Someone just goes, you have a Tumblr?
It's a work in progress. I need to work more on it. If whoever that is, if you know who we are, DM me on Discord and I will make more Tumblr content specifically for you.
Because he doesn't listen to me.
No.
And we should absolutely have a DeviantArt page.
Oh my god, yes! I need to post my Sonic furry art somewhere.
All right. Well, I thought we talked about.
I want to take a moment and just let's just step right into that. Sonic furry art. Tell me more.
Yes. And
Please,
What more?
regale us with your artistic vision, Hanny.
Yes.
All right.
Describe it and leave nothing out.
Is the
I have a
dong
very
like the
bad
arms? Is it
imagination.
supposed to be blue or flesh colored?
These are the questions we have to get to the bottom of. Like, is it blue or is it flesh colored? Right? I mean, I would argue probably more flesh colored. You know,
I would argue
Makes
that
sense.
his flesh is blue.
is all of his
And
flesh
it
blue
is
though?
both blue and flesh colored.
I hate that.
Sonic
blue
the
and green,
Hedgehog. Hold on 1 second. We gotta get to the bottom of this. This is how we like to start the show. Does he not? I'm not asking. No, so I guess he does have the flesh colored chest. But yeah, you're right. Everything else is blue. So yeah, probably he's probably gonna have.
Wait,
a blue.
his arms are blue too? I thought they were flesh colored.
So did I, but based on the movie poster.
I think he evolved over the years.
Yeah.
Can't believe he
it's
grew
much
up
like
and
us.
sprouted more hair.
Oh, you're right. You're right, Hanny. Because also I'm looking at an old one from Sega. He does have flesh colored
Yep,
arms as
he
well.
does.
So interesting.
Something happened. So maybe back in the day, he shaved his arms like a swimmer.
Yeah.
Down
Gotta go
on
fast.
Wind resistance, right? And then now because he's a little older now, you know, he's gained a little bit more muscle as an adult, and fully developed, he can let hair grow.
I love it.
I think it's flesh colored, but obviously blue pubes. I think that's what we're.
All right. I think we
Obviously.
can all. I think we can all
Much
get on
like
board with
most
Yeah.
folk, I would
Yeah.
say.
that. Yeah.
Right, most folk has blue.
Wolf wants to know, Hanny specifically, what's his height? What's Sonic's height in dongs? We figured out using the the universal dong unit.
Yeah. So while Chris was not in the Discord today while he was working,
I'm
that might have been
frequently
yesterday.
less and less in the Discord, and I feel like it's your fault, Hanny.
It's just like Justin.
Probably.
Justin's never in the Discord either.
I'm pushing Chris away. We made a couple of new standard units because some of our Canadian friends and myself were having a discussion about what unit you use for what measurements in Canada versus the US. And it was a good conversation. Then I had to Haney it. And so it devolved into using babies for weight, like how many babies do you weigh or how many babies do you want to lose weight, and that evolved out of talking about stone, like the UK or the British term for like 14 pounds or whatever. Whole journey. Anyway, a standard dong is 8.02 inches is what we decided. No, Chris, I'm speaking, please.
Okay, yes, please.
I'm sorry, Haney still has the floor.
And Sonic is roughly about 6 dongs.
Wait a minute. We can get to the bottom of this.
Hold on. I don't do math. Give me a second.
It's funny because I'm specifically remembering a scene from Jarhead where, Jake Gyllenhaal, and he's in the sniper school and they're trying to decide how to determine length. And he's like, how far is it from here to there? And they're like, this. And someone gets it right. He's like, how'd you do that? He's like, it's 2 football fields. He's like, that's right. You got to use units of measurement, He goes, I don't want anyone of you using your dicks because you can't count that high. So let's So when you talk about that, it made me think of that. Great story about a movie that everyone loves.
Perfect. Are you okay, Chris?
Yeah. Sonic is 3 feet 3 inches tall.
So 36 divided by 8.
I was gonna ask, is dong measurement of weight or height? But clearly a foolish question.
Interesting.
Yes.
I don't know how to use it for weight. But now I'm super curious how much my dong weighs, so I get to go explore that later.
Pull out that kitchen scale.
Yep.
It's funny, like, because you think about breasts, like how much does a typical breast weigh, right? Like I was just listening to a podcast recently where a comedian was like,
mine are more than I want.
Right. Likewise, and a female comedian was talking about how she weighed her breasts and they were like, what was it, like 3 pounds? Which you're like, is that a lot? Is it not? I don't know.
I feel like it is because, if you buy a package of chicken at the grocery store, it's like a pound.
Right.
And that's like a lot of chicken.
Right. Yeah, because I guess it's because I'm also thinking about dumbbells. I'm like, well, a 3-pound dumbbell is not that heavy. But if you're thinking about put it on your chest, it's like that's attached to your chest. I think chicken's a better way to do it, right? Because
I feel like dongs is really the only way to accurately. Yeah. We don't need to mess around with all this other extra nonsense. Dongs are bust.
Dong.
I see what you did there.
That was really clever.
We need to end it on that.
Nimps says,
thank you for tuning in.
I actually know something about boob weight. Nimps, all right. Tell us. Give us your knowledge about boob weight. But anyway, let's talk about First Encounter podcast. So you got you're like, oh boy.
I thought we might have to get
what a segue.
Right? So enough about boobs. Let's talk about First Encounter podcast. So you are currently in your 2nd season, correct?
That is correct.
Yeah. So first season, Haney played through one of Chris's. Every time I do it, I'm like, ding. There should be a counter. Ding.
You look really proud every time you get it right.
I'm remembering.
I got you.
Thank you, Justin.
Love it.
You played through Final Fantasy VII, which was
who did?
Haney did. You set me up. I didn't even know. You're like, alley-oop, hiya. So, which I thoroughly enjoyed because I grew up watching my brother play Final Fantasy VII. I never played it except for a handful of times where he's like, "Yeah, you can grind some experience for me. Go ahead, you can grind."
What a generous brother,
right? He's like, you know what? Why don't you level up some of this materia for me? Oh, you want to do the chocobo breeding and chocobo racing? Go for it. I have to say, I'm the reason why he got the Knights of the Round materia because I bred those chocobos to get the golden chocobo. So that's about the extent.
But I had an entire stream.
That's probably more
to
impressive than finishing
chocobo.
the game.
Thank you. You know what? I appreciate that. So I remember sitting back and just watching it, enjoying it. But I don't didn't really remember the story that well. I knew, like, as Hanny, as you were playing different things, I'm like, oh yeah, like I remember that. Like, thank you, Justin. This is going to be great.
The rest of the episode.
Get ready. When you were hitting certain beats, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember what happens next. Like, oh yeah, like I know Cloud. Spoiler alert to this game that's ancient. Cloud he's not who he says he is. And you know, sorry, Justin. I know you were planning on playing Final Fantasy VII. You know.
Now that Henny has finished it, spoil it all you want. I've got my content.
Exactly.
Got my content.
But it was I enjoyed it because I was like, all right, I'm gonna finally really understand the story of this game by listening to your podcast, and I felt like I was enjoying it as, you know, as Hanny was going through it, as Chris was watching the whole time. Thank you. And Slotty goes, Doug, can you draw the exact layout of the gold saucer? No, I can't. I don't remember that part of the game. But I really enjoyed the concept of this, of the idea of the podcast, because there are so many nostalgic things that are really important to us in our childhood. And games, I think, is one of those. And what a great game to start with, too, Final Fantasy VII. But what was the genesis of this idea between you guys? How did it come to be? And how did you end up choosing Final Fantasy VII?
No, it was on the PlayStation. Get it? Because you said Genesis. All right, I'm done. Chris, take it away.
Save me, Chris. Save me for myself. I mean, it's you know, I've known Henny 20. How many years now?
20.
22 maybe.
22? 23?
Yeah. And I played Final Fantasy VII very early on, and it was a very informative video game for...
Way too early after playing that game.
In retrospect, aren't most games that you fall in love with too early?
I would argue most movies you fall in love with also too early. If you've seen Goonies... That was a movie I grew up watching pretty frequently. Who Framed Roger Rabbit? We just had this discussion last week.
Oh, yeah.
I just rewatched that with my 6-year-old daughter. I'm like, okay.
Whoops.
How is this for kids?
Yup.
It wasn't. Never was.
Exactly.
Yeah, but it shaped my a lot of what I enjoy today. So it was always my favorite game. And Hanny, unfortunately, had never played it through all those 20 years. And it was probably the only source of friction between us at any point.
Yeah, probably.
And
still is somehow.
Yeah, always will be. Let's not lose that part of ourselves, Hanny.
No.
And I had moved away for a couple years from Vermont, where we both now live and both grew up. And we both got into podcasts around the same time. So when I came back to Vermont, I think both of us were very interested in the medium and pursuing a sort of creative outlet in that regard. And I had been watching a Let's Play on YouTube of somebody... a first-time Final Fantasy VII player being introduced by somebody who loves the game. And I would download the video audio and I would listen to it at work because, I was a data entry specialist, so all I could do was listen to podcasts and...
Got to make the most of that time.
Cry. Yeah. And it was awesome for a little while because I could tell by the game audio and what they were saying, like what was happening in the game. But the further they got, the harder it was to follow, and I couldn't keep track of where they were or what was happening in the game. So it was like, this could be something if you just kind of refined it a little bit and made it specifically for an audio medium. And I kind of brought the idea to Henny. I was like, hey, what if you play this game finally for the world? And you were on board with the idea of a podcast. And
yes.
Then pretty quickly you were on board with the idea of First Encounter.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I guess the rest is history.
That's really cool.
That's kind of where all that came from.
Did
I leave anything out? Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Didn't mean to interrupt you.
No. I want to know if you left anything out.
I don't know about left anything out, but I think everything that Chris said is accurate. And then like just from my side of things, like Chris mentioned, I wanted to, when he moved back, I wanted to hang out with him more, and we had wanted to do something together forever. Like we've had so many like start and stops on like little projects and ideas and things over the years, you know, everything from making a video game to making, you know, a board game to podcasts to, you know, video series, and just like all these different ideas of just stuff that we had. And then a whole bunch of stuff happened in life, and podcasts were a really anchoring thing for me, just like something to help me through some rough times. I was driving back and forth to the hospital a lot to visit my mom when she was first diagnosed with cancer. She's a lot better now. She's cancer free, which is awesome. But it was really stressful for quite a while, and listening to two particular podcasts really like got me like through that chunk. And one of them was a similar-ish idea to what Chris brought First Encounter to me as, and that was a podcast called Potterless. It's no longer active, but it was a guy reading a chapter of Harry Potter at a time for the first time, and then commentating on the chapter as a podcast and like his thoughts.
Wow.
And he would bring in a guest every episode, and you know, it started out as just his friends, random people, his girlfriend, you know, and then as the podcast grew, it became, you know, other bigger podcasters. I actually found a whole bunch of the podcasts that I love through them guesting on his show. Actually, one of them before we started recording, we were talking about Hello from the Magic Tavern. Usador was on his show, and that's how I ended up watching or listening to Hello from the Magic Tavern. But the idea of like someone doing something for the first time, like Harry Potter was a huge thing in my life. Like I loved those books growing up. So
what about now?
Being able
and why not, Hanny? Why not?
Well, I don't really love anything that J.K. Rowling does at this point.
See, that's a good question. Is the story still good, or can you separate art and artist? Something we've talked about ad nauseum on here, but I want to ask it again.
I don't think anything that I don't think anything in the story has changed. But it does make it feel a little less sincere to me, because the story is so much about, you know, like overcoming being like you know, ostracized or singled out or being, you know, labeled as other, and like it's that compared to J.K. Rowling's, you know, fairly blatant transphobia is very at odds. The ideas there, so it's made the story seem a little less sincere to me, honestly. But slightly before all that, while Potterless was still a thing, he had spoke out at length against a lot of that during that.
Sure.
I'm sure it was way worse for him. Yeah, like it was just I had loved those books so much growing up, and watching or listening to someone else getting into something that I had loved and like discovering it for the first time, like it was a glee that I didn't know like I wanted. And then like when Chris came to me with the idea for First Encounter, I was like, they're not the same, but like the feeling that it's going to elicit feels like it's going to be the same, and I like that feeling, and I'm kind of like, I want to experience more of that feeling. So I wasn't sold on the format at first. Chris is laughing there, but I wasn't sold on it, but I came around eventually. Chris convinced me.
What about it didn't have you sold?
I think it was I don't think this is going to work in a audio format. I didn't understand how you could play a video game over audio, and then also I didn't think anyone would care. Like I was like, I don't know that anyone's gonna want to listen to this, but you know, I was wrong, I guess.
How gracious of you.
Yeah.
Audience for everything.
Well, I think what's great is you tapped in. I think it was. I mean, what a great game to start with. Final Fantasy VII is such a strong fandom surrounding that series in general, but specifically that game stands out as a cultural milestone. I know it was impactful for myself and my brother because that was the first time like we had seen graphics like that. You look at it now, you're like, it looks like shit. But at the time, it's like,
dare you?
It's like, whoa!
Chris
and
just disconnects.
And the cutscenes were unheard of at the time. I remember watching those. I remember my brother would invite friends over, and he would beat the game for him just so they could see the final sequence. They had no context for anything that's going on. He's like, I'm going to show you this last battle. I'm going to fight this, and we're going to watch, like, because at the time it seemed like a movie, like this long-ass movie that happened at the end. And watching Sid say shit was always really cool. It's like he says shit as he's trying to pull the lever at the end. And it was so profound at the time, and it was very impactful. I grew up playing Final Fantasy 1 on the Nintendo, Final Fantasy 2 on the Super Nintendo, and Final Fantasy 3. I say that in quotes because they're numbered differently in Japan. But over here, because we hadn't seen any of the other ones, you can't be like, hey, we had Final Fantasy 1, now it's Final Fantasy 4. It's like, wait, what? That's what happened to the other ones? So I'm a huge fan of Final Fantasy 6 personally, and actually just bought the Pixel Remaster on Steam and have been replaying it. And I'm like, God, I fucking love this game. It's so good. Such a good one. Yes, Justin.
With the game meaning so much and being such a pivotal point in gaming and for a lot of people, and Hanny, I'm assuming that you were a gamer growing up as well. Yeah. So how did you miss playing that game? Like for so long?
Yeah, answer the question, Hanny.
What a good question.
That's a great question. I think I'm a bit of a contrarian. And when things get violently popular, I tend to turn against them. And I was much more aggressive about it previously. I'm choosing my words carefully because Chris is just glaring at me. But
no, it worked out for me.
Yeah.
Worked out for content.
Yeah, he's got his content. Yeah, so like at first it was I didn't have access to it, or I didn't know what it was. Like it was for how old Chris and I are, it was like I don't think any of the previous games were anywhere near my periphery at the age I was when that game came out. And so didn't just like see it for a while. Then my brother had it, but he and my older brother is like a way bigger gamer than I am, and I get like my love of like various media from him, like anime, video games, like my taste in like books and movies and stuff like that. And it's just because it's what I watched him do when when we were both growing up. And so like he would play a lot of games and I would watch him play a lot of games, and some would stick with me more than others. And one that stuck with me a lot was Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask, or and then I played that one myself because I loved watching him play it so much. And then Chrono Cross, which is my favorite game of all time, but he didn't ever like Final Fantasy VII. So
interesting.
Since he never played it, it wasn't around. And then when it started getting popular, I was just like, no, this is dumb. I don't want to play this thing. And then I carried that into being 28, I think is how old I was when we started. Yeah.
28, 29.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I kind of thought I was going to go my whole life without playing it too. I thought I was going to win that one, but somehow Chris always gets his way in the end.
Well, it's interesting how we sort of like establish those, I don't know if boundaries is the right word, or stigma on something. We're just like, oh yeah, everyone thinks that. Like I haven't seen the movie Titanic by James Cameron because I'm like, at the time,
you're fine.
Yeah,
fine.
I'm sure I am. Like I don't like all the time. I was like so anti it because
twist at the end,
right? The space vampires come out.
I'd watch the shit out of that.
All the girls in my high school were like,
Kraken pulled that ship down.
And Leonardo DiCaprio goes down swinging literally at the Kraken. Just yeah. Yeah, like all the girls in my high school were just head over heels in love with that movie. Like that was their Braveheart. Like they were just. I've seen it for the third time. I was like, "Fuck you! That's a dumb movie." I was just so.
Jesus.
I was just like, I ain't seeing that. Fuck that shit. It's
so aggressive.
It's a
That's
dumb.
Your Missouri's coming out, Doug.
Yeah. It was like, no, man, I ain't seeing no lovey shit. Fuck you. But yeah, hearing people be like, I've seen it 3 times. I'm like, that's a 3-hour movie. It's no different than any of the shit I'd go see, you know. But I was just like so anti. Even though I enjoy James Cameron movies, except for Avatar. And, you know, can't wait for Avatar Way of the Water, a.k.a. Waterbending, comes out, you know, in later December. My daughter actually just found Avatar on Disney Plus and fired it up. And I was like, oh. I've seen it once in the theater. And I was like, you know what? A 6-year-old will probably enjoy this film. So I went off to stream, and then I came back down later, and I was like, all right, did she finish it all? And my wife was like, no, there was some part about a wild animal. She got scared. I'm like, that's probably for the best, because she doesn't, you know, the complexities or lack thereof of unobtainium. And, you know, yeah. Anyway, I digress. But I think it's interesting how we associate or assign those sort of things to games. And Hanny, what I really enjoyed about listening to that was listening to you like have these amazing moments during it where you're like, oh my God, I didn't expect that to happen. Like years later, you're like, dun, 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 big reveals. Even though some of it, you know, it had been spoiled because you'd seen, you know, Final Fantasy Advent Children, which, by the way, is it a coincidence that after I listened to your podcast, that was on sale on Apple Movies, and I bought it?
You're welcome.
And I rewatched it, and I was like, I think I was fond of this movie. I'm like, I can kind of see why this is just okay. Actually, I didn't realize
we haven't watched it yet.
Okay,
So
I actually got
it's sacred content.
The complete version, which I didn't know was the thing. It seemed like it was the director's cut, and there were some extra scenes in it that I was like, wait, what? And a lot more violent. I shouldn't say a lot more, but there's a couple scenes where there's way more blood and gore. I'm like, wait, what? I don't remember this. What's happening here?
Can't believe they murder my boy Kate Sith like that.
Yeah, well, I mean, hey, kudos to you for really sticking to your guns and going with that character, because that was easily the character my brother dumped quickly. Was that Justin? If you're not familiar with Kate Sith, it is
I'm sorry. Did you just say if I'm not familiar?
Yeah, if you're not familiar with Kate Sith, it is
hypothetically. Pretend you aren't for a moment.
I mean, the way I remember it is it's some sort of mechanical machine with a cat with a crown, and the cat is a robot. Is that right, guys? Did I
think the whole thing's a robot.
The whole thing's a robot. But it's a cat on top of like a marshmallow
teddy
man.
bear.
Yeah. Something like that. And it is it uses what's its attacks? Like with like a microphone or a megaphone or some shit?
Yeah, it has a megaphone, and then it has like dice and slots.
So it's a gambler. Yeah, you go up and you poke its belly, and then like a slot machine comes out, and you try to win money. And if you don't win, you lose your soul. That's kind of how it works.
You lose a lot.
Yeah.
You lose a lot with Kate
It's
Sith.
fueled by the souls of degenerate gamblers is how I would describe Kate Sith. Yeah.
I would say that's accurate, yes.
Fair.
Sounds like my kind of character.
Right? Sounds like something a lot of people, you know, have been consumed by in our world. Yeah, but yeah. So I think it's great. You guys are doing great stuff on your podcast. I keep it up. Don't stop. That's an order, you know. So
thank you so much.
We had a great question from Richie in the chat. He said he's recently started.
Richie.
He's recently started a game stream and would like to do a series on Final Fantasy. As someone that's never played Final Fantasy but loves the concept, where would you recommend I start?
One. Not one.
I don't know.
For the record, one has been remastered and is on Steam as well, and I'm dangerously close to getting it, but I also have kind of like just some horror flashbacks to that game and being really frustrated with the gameplay. Supposedly they fixed a lot of it, but I'm also like, I don't know. So,
well, we have a lot of Final Fantasy fans in the chat right now, it looks like, so they probably have a lot of good suggestions, but I would personally say, depending on what it is that attracts you to the series in the first place, 10 is a fantastic place to start. It's got some of the best combat, pure turn-based in this series, I think. Or the Final Fantasy VII Remake, if you want your pure action combat. It's quite a nice way to go.
I think that's good.
Will you lose anything not having played them in sequence?
Absolutely not.
They are direct sequels. No one tell him. They're direct sequels to each other.
It's like, going in and saying, I haven't seen any of these Marvel movies. What's this Infinity War all about?
I'm just going to hop right into the multiverse of madness. No big deal. I'm just going to see this tonight. This looks fun.
That's kind of the great and also...
Sherlock? Okay.
It's the great and also kind of weird thing about the Final Fantasy series is that they're all just separate games. Like there's not necessarily continuation, which is kind of cool because when a new one comes out, you're like, what's this going to be? Probably some insane story, because that's usually what it is. It started out simple with there's a crystal and we have to get this crystal and save it from the bad guys. And then it turns into some wild shit later down the line where you're like, what? What are we doing?
And the teddy bear steals the crystal. It's crazy.
Right? Yeah, right. And then So I personally would recommend Final Fantasy VI. It's one of my all-time favorite games. It's got a ton of great characters. It's actually a relatively I always felt long to me, but it's actually a relatively short game, and it's super fun. Great turn-based stuff. And again, you can get the Pixel remaster on Steam, I think, for like $15. So it's the game that I've streamed a couple times. I think it's a lot of fun to check out. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm very nostalgic for it, so take that with a grain of salt. Yeah,
that's pretty high up on our request list, Hanny. 5 and 6.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is going to turn to Hanny just plays a whole bunch of Final Fantasy games. Is what this is going to be.
That's what Chris was trying to make it at first. I'm pretty sure.
Well, the good thing
It'll swing back to me eventually.
Yeah, the good thing about 5 and 6 is they're like 5 especially is really short. Like it's actually I remember being younger and being like, "Whoa, this game was long," and then playing it as I was older, I'm like, "Oh shit, this game's over." Okay, well I guess that was fast.
I appreciate those games these days. Honestly.
Yeah. Me too. Slotty says he would recommend to do 4 into 8, 9. He skips. I'm sorry. Yeah. 7. So 4. No, I'm sorry. 6. Roman numerals are tough. 6, 7, 8. He skips 9 and then goes to 10. So I know 9 is kind of
1. 6, 7, 8, 1. Skip 9. Go to 10.
There you go.
He says go back to 1.
Or is he saying is that the letter I, Justin?
Oh, go! Oh, see, Slotty. I don't know. Whoever chose this font in Google Chat and YouTube chat
didn't consider Roman numerals.
The eyes. I mean, come on, yeah.
YouTube.
9, I know 9 is kind of for a lot of people is kind of a meh game, but I know some folks actually really really enjoy it. So it is what it is.
In my expert opinion,
what would you recommend, Henny?
As a very staunch fan of Final Fantasy, I would recommend the best Final Fantasy game, Kingdom Hearts.
I know
which
more
one?
About that one because Doug and I did a podcast about it.
Yeah. I played the first one, and then years later, I watched, I think, Video Game Donkey do a breakdown of the story, and I thought it was a joke of how he broke down the story, but it's true. It's one of the most bizarre storylines I've ever heard of, and I'm like, and then they're coming out with a new one. I'm like, what are we doing here, gang? It's the perfect mix of Disney and Final Fantasy, which is like a marriage that no one ever saw coming, and the fact that they're still doing it blows my mind. I'm like, okay.
I have never cared about a video game less than when I saw the Kingdom Hearts 4 announcement. I was just like, that's fine.
Yeah, I saw it. It was like so serious. It's like this thing is invading, and like Sora gets up and pulls out his Keyblade and goes to fight it. I'm like, okay. And then you see Donald and Goofy.
I'm too tired.
I'm like, what? I don't know, man. I'm long past that series.
I'm really bummed because I genuinely loved the whimsy of the first game. And it was so much fun. And then I enjoyed the second one. I know a lot of people like it better. I got sad a lot during it. I never finished it, but it was still really good. And then I had to wait like 12 years for 3, and I just didn't care anymore. It was just like I don't care anymore. And then I tried I bought them the cloud versions or whatever they're called on the Switch, the like collection a couple weeks ago. I didn't even make it off Destiny Island before I put it down and was like, I think I'm all set actually on that.
Don't got time for these coconuts.
That's how I felt like when that new Avatar trailer came out. I'm like, this movie came out in 2009. Like, we're getting a sequel 12 years later, like 13 years later. Like, what are we doing? Like,
yeah.
Does anybody care anymore? I don't. You know,
it's fine. It's just it's all fine.
I feel like those movies would be a good introduction, or maybe even a replacement, dare I say, Haney, for the Last Airbender.
Yeah. I'm going to come to your house with my microphone cable and beat you with it.
Please.
Ooh.
Please.
Chris has never seen Avatar The Last Airbender.
I've seen some of it.
You've seen enough to know that one meme. That's like it.
I mean, what more do you need?
Listen, I'm gonna hop in here. Justin also hasn't seen it, as he takes a drink from his Batman cup.
I feel like I'm not surprised at this point, though.
It should surprise no one.
Yeah.
I'm kind of wondering what you do. Like, I'm genuine. Like, what do you do? What do you enjoy? Talk to me. Tell me something.
How do you enjoy life?
This is the only joy I get. It's this hour and a half once a week. All right. This is it.
In me.
And I've recommended it plenty. I've said, listen, I know it's a Nickelodeon show. It starts off very childish. You know, it's kind of hard to get going, but once you get going, man, it's an awesome show. It's so good.
Top tier.
Yeah. It's amazing.
I have too much going on. I have to go sit in a closet for a while in a dark room and just think. Yeah.
Have to sit on a stool in a white room eating crackers.
I'm not even sure this is real. This might just be
what's real anymore. Nobody knows.
There are a lot of people saying these words. They mean nothing. You got a fucking Hojo voices. That doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, okay? Chat's talking something about here. Like Wolf says, don't ignore the Hojo voice request. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm sorry if I missed this. Have Justin guess Hojo's personality based off their Hojo voice. Back. Okay. All right.
Oh no.
So is this Hanny? I think you were doing. Who's doing the Hojo voice during the?
It was Chris.
That is 100% Hanny.
All right. Okay, Hanny, do some lines that you can remember as Hojo, and then Justin, you're gonna guess Hojo's personality just based off of this voice. All right, Hanny, whenever you're ready.
I forgot the voice.
I was just about to say, at this point, your Hanny voice is the real mask.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right, I'm just trying to. None of these lines are fully accurate. I can assure you of that.
I think Caladria said she could suggest some.
You were a
choices.
failed experiment, weren't you?
Ooh, that was good.
That's all I get.
Grab another.
Go on, channel your Hojo.
How about this? Recite the Pledge of Allegiance as Hojo.
Oh boy.
I don't know that I can. Well, all right, no, I got this. Hold on. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Bravo.
That's wonderful.
Hojo.
You deserve
Hojo.
All the children cheer for you.
Oh no! Don't put children near Hojo.
All right, Justin. Guess his personality based on that voice. This is a character from Final Fantasy VII. All right.
Yeah. I'm gonna say a divorced airline pilot that has diabetes and has a very, very strong addiction to alcohol.
I mean,
Nailed it. It's never been closer.
Is that accurate?
Yeah, 100%. I don't know.
And he's from Newark.
that was the bit we were
that
needing.
was the
Give
missing
yourself a
idea.
ding, Justin.
Yeah,
Give yourself a ding.
100%.
Is that a ding? Yay!
Hell yeah.
Did it.
Hojo is a greasy scientist who does
Got Newark.
Yeah, that when you said Newark, it tied it all together.
Hey, Newark,
for me. I was like,
fuck you.
Newark. I know 2 things about Newark: The Sopranos, well, The Sopranos movie, and the airport that I've been to. That's it.
Amazing.
The airport that I've only gone to because I needed to sit somewhere for a while before I could go to another airport.
Isn't that the best? Those are the best airports. Be like, yeah, I was here for 8 hours.
Airport's
You want
the
to know
best.
what I enjoy? It's a good airport sit. That's what I'm doing with my time.
Yes.
when I'm not doing this.
Yeah, he likes to go to the
Buying
local
tickets,
airport.
going through security.
Yeah.
You never board the plane though.
I'm deeply in debt, but I enjoy my airport sits.
You know, a lot of people like to travel.
No McDonald's are better than airport McDonald's.
It's true, they're different. It's a different type altogether. Different
is.
menu. Like it's all different.
Oh no, I still get the sausage McMuffin with egg, but
There
it
you
just
go.
tastes different.
And a lot of people will travel the U.S. being like, I gotta visit every baseball stadium. I want to check out every football. Like also, Justin's like, I gotta visit every airport. Not necessarily fly out of it. I just want to go hang out. You know,
I just need a good airport sit. Just give me
You
25 minutes tops, and I'm out.
he likes
To
to just
drive up to Vermont and sit in our local BTV for a while.
I've been to the Burlington, Vermont regional airport.
See, here's the thing.
Have you?
Justin
Nope.
has hit all of the main ones.
I don't think you have.
Justin's hit all the
They
main
have a
ones.
regional airport? I don't know if they do.
It's Burlington International Airport, in fact, because it has
Oh.
one flight that goes to Canada.
Oh.
They got it's a technicality.
See, here's the thing. Justin's hit all the international and all the main ones, but what he's doing now, he's going to the minor leagues. He's checking all the regional airports now, just to see like what's the difference. And
I can't
Justin,
wait for the
Grand
season where you.
Rapids, I'm dying to get down to the Gerald Ford Airport. I'm very excited to go to that one.
and Justin, can you tell us, like, based on your visits, like, what are the top 3 things you look for in a security line at the airports?
In a security line?
Like, yeah, like what's the thing you were like, if this is a good airport, what are the features of a good security line?
I mean, it has to have at least 3 babies in the line, families with strollers, babies. I love it when there is only a single TSA booth open. If not, I feel cheated. And the third, the longer I have to go through the maze of the belts, the longer that is, it's just the more rich my soul feels.
I love it.
Yeah.
Because it's all about getting steps in and being healthy is what it is.
That's the thing. Why else? I don't go to airports for anything else but health.
Yeah.
To get the steps.
I love Wolf
Balls
says,
are free.
check out more at justinairportrankings.blogspot.com for all of the details,
Wait a minute.
Check out my
including
Tumblr.
his favorite Sbarro and his favorite Cinnabon. You'll never guess which one won. Which city
Blow
won?
your mind.
It'll blow your mind. Clickbait.
I think Chris might be purchasing a domain name from the look on his face.
Oh, I
Some
love it.
things are more important than
The podcast. And that's websites about podcasts.
So amazing.
that's unavailable if you
Damn, it's unfortunate.
missed your window.
We almost had it. So what?
Justin Guarini has that one now.
What do you
Remains
think?
a dream.
What do you think is so amazing about watching someone experiencing something you love for the first time? And that can expand beyond games. It can be movies. It could be visiting something. But obviously, as it pertains, like as far as part of your God, I said fart a couple times there. As part of your podcast.
Did you want me to?
Thank you. Let's get it
You
out
got to
there.
get the farts in.
Got to get them in, man. What? Because I have a 6-year-old daughter, and I can't wait to show her like certain movies. I just recently took her to Disney World, and the whole time I was just watching her experience stuff like for the first time, and I'm just like, this is awesome. I don't need to even be here other just to watch you enjoy it. Like, what makes it so special to be like, Haney's playing this game that I love. Chris is playing this game that I love. Justin is watching, Avatar: The Last Airbender. Like, what is it that makes it
I'm
so
at
special?
the bookstore in my favorite airport.
I would
This is-
say in many ways, I'm like Chris's 6-year-old daughter.
Yeah. Most ways.
Just so
I
you
would
know,
argue.
that's going to be a clip. I just want you to know that. That's going to be a clip.
Good. It's for the best.
Yeah,
Chris,
yeah.
please take it away.
Well, I was gonna say this is a great question because I feel like I got what I wanted out of the podcast because Henny fell in love with Final Fantasy VII. I feel like, and I had a great time watching him. I feel like I'm driving Henny further away from Zelda. So
I can't stand Zelda anymore.
So-
If I hear another stupid little fairy, I'm gonna lose it.
please, Thick Fairy.
No.
So we'll circle back around to you, Henny, because I feel like you'll have a interesting answer.
Please.
But I think it's just gratifying to see someone enjoy something that you fell in love with yourself. It's it's a connection thing, and it shows that you have good taste. Maybe
Someone likes something you like, it's,
I mean, I have impeccable taste.
I
have
think that's
a
clear.
one out of one track record so far with the podcast, so
Yeah.
100%.
flying pretty high. But yeah, I think it's a connection thing, and it's also a nostalgia thing, where there's so many things I wish I could experience again for the first time,
Yeah.
but it's impossible. But if you see someone else enjoying it for the first time and having like genuine reactions, I think that kind of brings you a bit closer to it, at least. Would be my answer.
I think that's excellent answer. Henny, what about you?
I would say it's probably a lot of the same. As much as I get frustrated with the way Chris plays Zelda games, I
Properly.
yeah. I do have these very gratifying moments with Chris, where I get to watch him come up to a scene or a particular, like in the case of Majora's Mask, if you're not familiar, it's a very collect heavy game, so you collect a lot of masks, and a lot of those masks are very nostalgic for me because I remember like the feeling of getting it when I was a kid, or like becoming like obsessed with certain designs and like drawing them on all my homework and stuff like that. And so like I have certain masks and certain moments where I'm just kind of watching Chris the entire time because I just want to see him react to it and like experience it. And one was when you get the Kamaro mask and you visit the Rosa sisters and dance in front of them in West Clocktown. That's like the song that plays and that like whole sequence of events has been like jammed in my brain since I was like 10. So, or however old I was, 12. And getting to it's like what Chris said, just getting to watch someone like experience just those little moments again is just it's so gratifying. And then I have the nostalgia aspect as well, where I absolutely love when I get to sit in our studio on a Sunday afternoon and there's like rain outside, and just I'm instantly transported back to when I was a kid, like inside on rainy days playing Majora's Mask. And like I remember like my whole life, like day 2 has always been my favorite Majora's Mask because it rains, and like it's very fun to like just have those little like bits of like, oh man, like I remember like this specific time I was homesick, like playing through that, and that was the day that I got the redacted mask because Chris hasn't come anywhere near that part yet, and things like that. And it's a lot of the same as what Chris said, and just then also getting to share that with others too is like a whole nother aspect to it. So like Chris and I get to jerk each other off essentially through the podcast, on our
Now
own.
for an audience.
Now we get to do it while people watch us, but the dream, right? But
so people can subscribe to you guys on Pornhub, right? Is that how that works?
Chatterbait is actually.
Right, Chatterbait. My bad.
Set up.
My bad.
Join us next Wednesday. But like the back to the serious topic though, like like it's very gratifying for us while we're playing it, but then we get to cut it down and compact it into like a little feelings packet and ship that off to people and be like, hey, enjoy this. I want you to have this. And people are like, thank you. I like this. And like, that feels really cool too.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I'm really glad that you guys have been able to. It sounds like you've gotten a strong reaction a lot from fans and things like that. Because I think you're picking games that really resonate with people, and B, people are sharing in that experience. Like again, for me, the Final Fantasy thing, I was like, I'm gonna go on this trip with Haney because it's kind of almost like my first time again because I didn't play it. I just got to watch it. So even though I wasn't seeing your screen, I could picture most of it, and I was having a good time. Just. It's similar to how I mentioned like having Justin plays video games. I'm like, some of these games I've played, but I know the concept. And I'm more or less I'm kind of enjoying Justin kind of going through the difficulty of it. I think that's kind of the joy I got from it. I was like,
yeah, there's a lot of joy in that too.
It's like, hey, Justin, play Dead by Daylight. It's a scary game, and you don't know how to play it, so go for it. And or Among Us, which actually Justin did fantastic at. Shockingly, he got. I think we played 6-7 rounds, and Justin was the not the spy, the
imposter killer.
Yeah, he was the killer like 80% of the time. Like again,
doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, he just kept getting it.
You can see it.
Yeah. Granted, I think there was only a total of 5 people playing, but he kept becoming the imposter like over and over again. He's like, but he was getting away with it.
The game didn't even assign it.
Yeah, it's just like
he just started killing people.
Yeah.
Just a shifty little fuck.
Yeah, and it was so much fun to watch Justin just sort of experience that and play the game with other people too. Because that particular one was fun because I don't think the other players had played the game before either. So it was fun just to watch everyone sort of like root around and try to figure out what the hell's going on and the insanity that ensued. And I had a fun time watching Justin experience that because it's just fun to watch, him do that sort of stuff. Justin, is there what do you think about that? Like, what's fun about, experiencing that stuff?
I think it's everything that we've touched on so far and what people have been bringing up in the chat. It's nostalgia. Like you're getting to share something that's so, we've talked before, if someone disagrees with you on something like, most religious or political arguments are because something that you hold or someone badmouths a Marvel movie and we're like, oh, fuck you. It's something that you hold very close to your identity. And, so someone playing this, you're watching someone play a piece of your past and they're getting to share in a bit of your nostalgia. And so I think there's something really special about that. Even I just think it's entertaining to watch. Like in college, we would sit and my roommate Rob would play Mario 64 and I would just sit there and eat peanut butter and pretzels and I'd watch him play we'd spend a weekend and we wouldn't leave the fucking apartment and I would watch him beat the game. And I can't tell you how many times I've seen that game all the way through. I play it. I still have my N64, but I had more fun watching him beat the game. And it was just because I don't know, there's some shared experience there.
I agree.
Yeah.
I like that.
I think I don't know, that's what's kind of fascinating about Twitch and YouTube and stuff these days is people are playing games. And initially I know I kind of had the same thought as everyone else. It's like, wait, there's just a whole website out there where you can watch other people play games. Why would you want to do that? But then I immediately went back to like, I grew up with a brother. We had one system and there was a lot of games that weren't 2-player. And I would watch my brother play a lot of games and I really enjoyed it. Like, yeah. I know sometimes my mom would be like, hey, let Doug play. And I'm like, no, seriously, I want to watch him play Romance of the Three Kingdoms. Like, I have no desire to play this game. I just want to watch him play. Same thing now. It's to me, a streamer that we really like and has been on the show, C2, aka Carly. She plays Apex Legends. I'll throw it on during the day while I'm working, just watch her just rip people to pieces. And I will never, ever play that game. But she's so good at it. I'm like, this is actually kind of relaxing to watch me just shoot people and tear them up. I'm like, this is great. Like I
want to be so good at a video game that people are like, yes, your slaughter is soothing to me.
It is because she makes it look so easy. She's just, grabbing stuff and just popping out, doing stuff. I'm like, you're pretty good at this game, and just, it's and not only that, it's just fun to explore and see what other games are out there. I think we're in such a great time I love a good indie game. You know, the AAA $60 blockbusters, I don't get those that often because I think most of them are garbage. But, you know, you tell me there's a $10 game out there that is unique and fun. I mean, I forgot when we got it. It may have been $5. It was, I don't even remember the name of it. It's absolutely batshit crazy where you're two knights. You can play on teams of two, and essentially you're trying to ride your way to a castle. But at the same time, you can have guns. And your horse can like sort of like do drifts like in Mario Kart and sprint.
Hell yeah.
And you can get grenades. It's kind of like a battle royale, but the goal is to get both of your teams to the end to get a rose. It's a batshit game. It was made by people who are like, hey, listen, we're not going to update this regularly. We're going to make this game. We made it in 2 weeks and then we're done with it. All right, there you go. And they put it out there. It was so much fun. I played it with some folks on the Discord. It's bonkers. It's insane. I'm like, this is the kind of shit that I'm like, yeah. Let's play this for a couple weeks, spend $5. It's worth it. It's unique. It's fun. Yeah. And I love finding games like that and watching people play that. I'm like, the fact that you could just hop into Discord and be like, hey, I'm playing a game. Like, can you stream it? I'm just going to hang out in Discord while you play your game. And I'll just watch. I'll watch you play Inscription or whatever. Like, I'm like, I can watch that shit for days. That's amazing. It's so much fun. It's weird, but it's fun.
Yeah. I definitely... I like the idea of just being able to share an experience with someone.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's odd that video games is something, even if you're not the one playing, you can still share that experience, especially if it's a game with a story.
Yes.
To watch that unfold and be engrossed in it and be like, whoa. Because especially nowadays, because I'll take that back. If you told me my daughter was going to pull up Balloon Fight on the Switch, the old NES game, and be like, Dad, watch me play, and be like, no, I'm not going to watch you play that. That game sucks. I don't want to watch you play that. But you're booting up Zelda, A Link to the Past. I'm like, all right, let's do this. You know, it's got a story to it. Let's take a look at this. Or, you know, BioShock Infinite. I'm like, yeah, I'll watch you play that game. Hell yeah. Let's learn about that story. That'll be fun. That'll be real interesting.
BioShock is one that I would actually commit. If I had a console, I would commit to playing. Because I've heard so many people.
You don't need a console.
Huh?
You don't need a console.
I have a Mac, Doug.
Get a PC.
Say no more.
Get a PC.
So I would play that game just because I've heard so many people talk so highly of that story. Like it sounds really fascinating to me.
That's actually a game I want to get out again. Is BioShock Infinite. I've been meaning to do it for a while. I played that game once and it was mind blowing. And I want to go back and play it again because it was so good.
I have all those games. I've never really done much with them. I started Infinite, but never really got very far in it.
Promise me you'll do Infinite for the podcast.
I don't know if we can because I don't think Chris has played them. I don't know. Have you?
I've played the first one.
Okay.
I enjoy the aesthetic a lot more than Infinite.
I would love to see Haney play Infinite and just get his reaction as he plays that game. Like if you don't know the story or how it ends, like that would be highly entertaining to listen to.
I only know snippets. I just know like no, I don't know shit actually. I know that is it Elizabeth? Is that her name?
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
I think that's the only thing I know and what she looks like, but I was like, I don't know how to like say that out loud because it's just like she's a brunette haired woman and that's it. Like I don't know. Like
I'm telling you, you put a pin in that one and you play that one. I know it whatever. Find a way. Chris, go play it and beat it and then come back and be like, Hanny,
fall in love with it, make an emotional connection,
and then be like, Hanny, you're gonna play this, and you sit him down and you're like, here we go, and play this game. I'm telling you, you guys have already picked good games so far. That one, you'll see a boost in your numbers. I guarantee it.
All right. We'll see what we can do about that.
Chris, boost me.
Boost me.
Boost me.
Boost me, please. Please boost me.
Yeah. I think the other thing about watching people play games is you get to see them interact with the mechanics in the story in ways that you wouldn't expect to yourself, which is very cool.
What does that mean, Chris?
Nothing at all. Because, I mean, as you know at this point, Henny, I play optimally.
You're a pro gamer.
I'm a pro gamer. So, yeah. But there's nothing... there's nothing more to say about that. I'm a pro gamer. But setting that aside, I think seeing people interact with games is very interesting. And I hadn't considered it before, but when you said it was relaxing, I think you said, to watch someone who's so good at splattering people. It comes back to watching people who are at like the peak of something, right?
Yeah.
Like you love watching like action stars in movies because they're just so good at what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that applies to games pretty well.
I think it's a really good connection. You watch someone who's just really good at their craft, whether it's an athlete, whether it's someone who's building something or whatever. You're like, wow, this is really cool to watch. A chef,
That's
make
true.
food.
I watch car detailing videos.
Yeah, I hate cars, but I would probably watch that because I'm like, I bet that's really fucking cool.
It's so relaxing.
Yeah.
It's so relaxing.
Yeah, that's amazing.
I'll tell you what I really enjoy watching, what relaxes me and what I connect with.
Welcome to the Throwdown.
It's that time. We're here.
Oh, it's throwdown time.
Welcome to the Throwdown. If you've never been here
This doesn't
before,
sound relaxing at all.
this is so relaxing. Do you feel the smooth? It was like chill hop right there, right?
All right.
Calm
Rain.
down, Hanny.
It's just
Welcome
like rain.
to the throwdown.
Welcome to the Throwdown.
Oh yeah, there we go. Okay.
Yeah.
Grab your ankles and get ready for a good time.
Yes. Are
there
you
we
ready?
This is how Chris and I throw down. Yeah.
That is-
You ready for some fluids? Because they're spilling out here shortly.
Always.
One more time, Doug.
Are you ready for some?
Clip it.
Are you all ready for some fluids?
And that's it.
There you go.
Aye, aye, Captain.
There you go. Exactly.
Dougie.
Well, nice cut. Nice pull. No one's gonna hate that. So if you've never been here before, it's your first time. Throw down. We're gonna put two things in a ring. We're gonna kind of go through their pros and cons. We're gonna decide which one will come out victorious. And this one is special. Normally we have a council of elders pull this one, but I thought in honor of our guests and what they've accomplished so far on their podcast, I think it only made sense that this week's throwdown be between Cloud Strife versus Link.
I thought this is where I was going.
You must have meant Zelda, the titular character.
The titular
Oh yeah, the
character.
titular character is Zelda.
Yeah.
Yeah, the princess. Yeah, she's hopping in there too.
No. The protagonist, Zelda.
Yeah, with the green clothes and
Yeah,
the blonde
green
hair.
clothes.
Yeah.
you know.
clothes.
He's on the cover.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
So now there is a stipulation here. There is Cloud does not have materia, so there's no summoning, there's no magic use whatsoever.
Joke's on you. I never learned how to use the materia anyway.
What's materia?
There's no summoning, Knights of the Round or any of that shit. So it's basically martial combat. I would say Link still has access to his, plethora of tools and items
that's bullshit.
and things of nature.
What did you say?
Cloud. Well, I guess it also depends. I'm open to arguments here as opposed to like what would be allowed and what not. But I feel like considering Cloud still has limit breaks and shit like that,
That's fair. Yeah.
it'd be quite the battle. So
He's got nail bat.
So, Chris, I'm going to start with you. Tell us, because you're most familiar with Final Fantasy VII, what does Cloud bring to the table here that would you think would make him powerful against Link, or what's something that would give him the edge against Link?
Oh, man, what Cloud are we talking? And what Link are we talking?
That's a great question.
I assume we're talking like, how old is Link? Like,
I mean,
12?
which timeline do you want to go with? I mean, you've got
Wind Waker baby Link.
You've got
We're gonna say adult Link Ocarina of Time. I think
All
that's
right.
probably the fairest matchup against Cloud, because I think they're the same-ish age.
So,
I think Link's 17 and Cloud's like 21, right?
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah, so that's like,
So, well, Cloud post Final Fantasy VII.
I want to say Cloud during OG.
At what point?
Before disc 3.
good place. Favorite part before this 3,
All right.
All
right. Well, I mean, I would say that Cloud, as a former member of Soldier, has been
Yeah, there you go.
properly trained up He knows how to use the classic Shinra tech, such as gun and grenade.
That's true.
He's been enhanced. He's essentially a super soldier.
That's true. He is.
Is probably his high points. He
Mhm.
can swing that big bad sword around, no problem.
Yeah. He's got martial prowess, obviously. He's watched Sephiroth massacre things.
Fit so much shit in his pockets.
Right?
Literal or otherwise.
I think both, this is a wash between Link and Cloud on this one. The amount of shit that those guys pack,
That's true.
is pretty impressive. Yeah, the backpacking skills these guys have are thoroughly just, I think that's their strongest attribute. Let's just say it.
I would say these are two
Also, they
fellows
train
who
for the
go
container
into
store.
leg day.
Yeah, right?
Seriously.
Yeah. Their arms don't show it, but they can haul that stuff. They're good.
Never skip arm day.
It's a lot of,
The famous saying.
of course. Hanny, tell us about Link right now. What are from Ocarina of Time? What's he got going for him?
I specifically wanted that Cloud because that Cloud is so emotionally damaged that the easiest thing for Link to do would be to play the Song of Healing and just fucking ruins Cloud immediately.
I would argue
Yes, and
that Cloud at that point doesn't know he's damaged. He has no need of the song. He's fine.
the song's magic. It's gonna touch him regardless if he doesn't know or does know. Songs aside, though, what Link brings to the table is skilled martial prowess, Batman-like skill and tool usage, and a destiny that you can't really fuck with because he's the guy. Cloud's just a guy. Link is the guy.
There's never been a more definitive argument in a throwdown until today. It's that's a guy, that's the guy. I mean, that's powerful.
It sounds like Link also brings a childlike wonder to life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Important.
It's a whimsy.
Yeah.
You need that in a death battle for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Whimsy there.
I would counter that, Hanny, though. I don't feel like Link's been properly trained. I think he went from child to adult just through virtue of
Falling asleep.
not living it.
Yeah. Valid.
He's essentially still a child,
I've
mentally
always
and
wondered-
emotionally.
I've always wondered why his muscles weren't atrophied after 7 years in the coma. You can't
Potentially
just stand
they
up
are.
and it's just adrenaline driving him through the last chunk of Ocarina of Time. That's the only thing that could be there. Spoilers for Ocarina of Time. The game came out in '99. Calm down.
And Link collapses. He never makes it.
So I'm finding it really hard to struggle, or I'm finding it a struggle to come up with positives for Link.
Oh, really?
Zelda.
Well, I mean,
Because
he's got a
in
shield.
my head, I'm like, well, he has all these items and all this stuff that he brings, right? He does bring skill. He does bring tools. He brings magic,
Can-do attitude.
a can-do attitude, but also Cloud, I think, is probably a better fighter. Just in my head, I'm just probably I don't know why I think that, but
I mean,
he's trained
Link's
to
a
kill.
problem solver, though, because a lot of the enemies that Link fights, he's got to figure out that weakness.
they're mostly blocks that you have to move around, and that's a huge
He
struggle for
smashes
Chris.
pots like nobody's business. I mean,
I've seen Link
I-
take down Kirby, Pikachu,
Mm.
Bowser.
So is Cloud, though. He's in there now.
that's
No.
He's
true.
in that game too.
That's
Not
true.
the N64 version, which
That is
I'm
correct.
rocking.
Hell yeah.
I would say, though, that Cloud is not a puzzle solver.
Yeah.
No.
He's many
No.
things, and a puzzle solver is not one of them.
Yeah, he's very straightforward. He's Smash in in that sort of situation. So I think Link is more adaptable because he's fighting. Now I would say
He's
that
scrappy.
he's scrappy because he's fighting a variety of monsters. So is Cloud. He's fighting whatever Final Fantasy VII throws at him. But Link definitely has to be creative, has to solve puzzles, has to figure out the weaknesses of his enemies, and he has to use all the tools at his disposal to be effective. Whereas Cloud's like, I got this big ass fucking sword, and you're gonna feel it. And hopefully by the time I'm done swinging it, you're gonna be dead. Now I will say his limit breaks are devastating, absolutely devastating. So I think, I don't know. It's. I think with Link's tools at his disposal, right? He's got magical bracelets, that he can use to be stronger. He's got a shield that protects him from things. He's got like grappling hooks, boomerangs. He's got a whole bunch of stuff that I think, I don't know, this is tough. Because if it's just straight armed combat, I think I give it to Cloud, right? Because Cloud, I think,
I also
is more
want
ferocious.
that fight. Like, I want to just watch that for a while, because
Right.
that would be I'm sure someone's done it before, like animated it before, or like played it out in Brawl or something, right? But or whichever one Cloud came in, and I could see that being like when you sit down and watch a really good fight scene in like an anime or a movie or a TV show, and you're like, wow, that was a really like the choreography was nice, or like that like I felt the hits in that one or something like that. Like that's a really cool feeling. Like if you like that kind of stuff, and I do. So like I would just want to sit down and watch that fight for just the sake of a good fight.
I think it would be interesting. Slotty in the chat says Link maxes out at 999 rupees. His wallet game is weak as fuck. So I mean,
fuck, there's so many things I can't say because Chris hasn't gotten far enough. Never mind, it's fine.
And Wolf does point out too that, does Link carry orthopedic underwear in his pockets? I think not. That was definitely something that Cloud does.
Do we know for a fact that he doesn't, though? Just because we know for a fact that Cloud doesn't mean
Link barely has pockets.
That's true.
How does he carry all of his shit then, in a backpack?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Yeah,
I do.
Link's secret.
I guess what it would come down to is, can Link finish the job?
That's a good question.
Because Cloud is a cold-blooded killer.
He is a murderer. He's got that killer instinct.
He will take that nail bat straight.
Do we ever have? I feel like we don't have problems with Link killing either, but he doesn't really.
I've only
face
killed
people.
Monsters.
Yeah. Well, Cloud
splatters so many Shinner grunts.
I was gonna say is a monster.
So many across those walls. Yeah. Whoever's on cleanup crew has quite a bit of work cut out for them in that building.
Sorry, Jared in the chat came in with a Justin comment. Why are we talking about the princess from Zelda and a Cloud?
God damn it, Jared.
The hard-hitting questions.
I respect it, Jared.
Yes. Yeah. I love you, Jared. I'll say this. I think it's obviously a tough battle between these two. I think the onus is on Link to find a creative way to dispose of Cloud, because I think Cloud's brute force and prowess will overpower Link. Chris says no.
Nah, here's the thing.
Oh no.
Cloud levels up, much like a Saiyan. He gets stronger after every fight. Show me Link's levels.
Chris, Link is your favorite JRPG star who levels up.
Also, we've seen how much Cloud takes to the face. There's been a comet that has been summoned onto his head, and he gets up and dusts himself off. Whereas Link, as far as I know, he can't even take a moon. So
moons are bigger than comets. Stop.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Link is contingent on what he has at his disposal. If he doesn't have rings or bracelets, he's less powerful. So say those were to break or whatever, he'd be screwed. Whereas I think Cloud lives on pure talent and pure strength. Like what he has is his natural self, whereas Link, while I think does have martial prowess, relies on his equipment. And so if that
How did Cloud get good at fighting? Because he's bad at fighting, then he falls asleep, is in a tank for a whole bunch of time, then wakes up and thinks he's someone else, and suddenly he's good at fighting.
He's got. Didn't he get those memories of like Zack putting his head or something like that?
Yeah.
I mean,
we didn't see him be bad at fighting.
I saw him vomit a lot.
Listen, I get motion sickness too.
Yeah, man.
That's very common.
I get nervous. I get the tumble rumblies before big events. I mean, it can happen to anybody.
You give Cloud Dramamine, he's unstoppable.
There you go. Yeah, I think I'm going to lean Cloud on this one. I think if you were to run a simulation, it would probably be interesting between the two, but I think Cloud will win more often. I think that's going to be my vote.
I think Cloud could get cocky and throw it away.
It's true. It's a good point.
As well.
It's true.
Whereas Link would not take his eye off the ball unless he's controlled directly by me.
God damn it.
In which case, he will not put his eye on the ball.
He
will run away from the ball screaming.
He will be 2 temples into a game and still not understand how to target the ball.
Don't need it. Don't need that ball.
Just when I thought I had a decision, now I'm back to the center again, where I'm like, God damn it. What wins? Brute strength or clever? Being clever and tactically aware.
What's the arena?
That's a great question.
Oh, space.
Space. They're in space.
Oh, fuck.
The final frontier?
You know it. I would say, Cloud.
Space Zelda, no.
What's that?
It's Space Zelda, no.
Zelda, right. He's, they both, they have both entered a town from the opposite sides of town. And they come upon the town's been ravaged, and they're looking for supplies. Link goes in to the general store in the center of town. Link goes in the front door, and Cloud makes his way through the back door. And
Always does.
They meet, and they reach for the last can of SpaghettiOs with meatballs, and that's it. And so
they need their supplies. It's do or die.
Go time, yeah.
Survival of the fittest.
Their pockets are full.
Cloud gives up because he's a vegetarian.
I was gonna say, I've seen how Link chows down on those fairies.
Yeah.
He's not gonna let that meat go.
Wow.
Thick fairy, I'm coming. See, there's so much in a general store that you can use as leverage. Like the hook shot's going to be great in there. You can bounce arrows off of the corner mirrors to make sure you're not stealing the nudie mags in the back.
Nice.
You can use the nudie mags as weapon. Catch the corner of one of those in your eye. Sharp.
It's no good.
No.
I think I like Slotty. Sorry, I'm going to amend the arena here. So it's an Aldi parking lot. Link is coming out of the Outback Steakhouse next door to the Aldi, and Cloud, not paying attention to where he's going, bumps into Link, knocking his leftover bloomin' onion to the ground.
Oh,
question.
that.
Yes.
Well, 2 questions. One, Chris's cat is removing his tapestry.
Didn't need that.
And 2, what is an Aldi?
Oh.
It's a very inexpensive grocery store.
Inexpensive grocery store?
It's an inexpensive with names of things that you have never heard of.
Yeah, it's the kind of place where it's like you bring your own basket, like, to like
Unless
when you're
they
done.
charge you 50 cents.
Yeah, they charge you 50 cents to use a cart.
And
so
who was coming out of which?
Link is coming out of Outback Steakhouse, and
Cloud is coming out of Aldi. That sounds right, because Link always has money, and Cloud robs a child of her college fund.
Excuse me, I fucking rob blind plenty of newlyweds.
It's one newlywed. You just rob her on a.
Out of context,
Yeah.
this is hilarious to listen to. Like, just
I think at that point,
Hi, Squatchy.
that cat is like, I'm gonna fuck up this chair.
Yeah, Squatchy is pissed at that tapestry.
I think Link is probably full at that point. He's gonna fight worse.
Damn it.
He's not gonna be quick. He's
rolling out of the Outback Steakhouse.
No, he got his order to go. He's got the bloomin' onion, and
He got a single blooming onion.
That's it.
Have you ever? You don't? No. Do you know how big a fucking bloomin' onion is, dude? You do not eat a full bloomin' onion.
What? You don't think he burns enough carbs?
I've seen you eat. That's true.
Come on.
Yeah.
He could do it. If anyone could do it.
Well, Link has the rage of losing his blooming onion, so Link's gonna win because he's gonna hook shot the nearest Volkswagen, and he's just gonna flip it down on the Cloud.
Fucking love it.
Crush his little head.
He doesn't got those muscles.
Oh, he's got those muscles.
His hands were full. Cloud is ready.
Incorrect. Cloud knocked his bloomin' onions out of his hand.
Yeah,
which means
and
his
when
hand
Link looks down in distraction and in regret.
How dare you? Link is with samurai prowess, just pulls his sword out and resheathes it, and Cloud just falls in half.
There's no way.
Well, I'll say this much. I'm going to amend my previous statement. I'm going to say that I think I'm going to give it to Link because of what he has at his disposal. And I think now that you brought it up, Chris, I think because he has multiple ways to win, whereas I think Cloud just has one, which is brute strength. So I'm going to go with Link.
I go with Link purely to upset Chris.
I think I would lean Cloud, but I could really see it going both ways.
I was like, please don't bring me back to center again, Chris.
Well, to put an end to this, I'm going to go Link. So we're saying Link for the win!
Yeah!
Season 2, best season!
Fucking nonsense.
This is awesome. This is awesome.
Hot bullshit.
This is hot bullshit. Wish we had that for an audio clip. So this is the part of the show where we do recommendations to our listeners. So if you've got something that you've been watching, reading, listening to, anything that you think, folks, hey, you're missing out if you don't check this out, by all means, Chris, we're going to start with you. If you've got something to recommend to everyone listening, what do you got?
Do you want an anime, a
Sure.
game, or I was going to give you a choice of 3 recommendations.
All right, let's do an anime. I could really use a good anime recommendation.
Doro Hidoro.
Doro Hidoro.
Or is it Doro Hidora? It's one of the two.
Doro Hidoro.
Yeah, okay. It's about a lizard who goes around munching on people. He sticks their head in his mouth and bites down on them. And inside his mouth, the people he's munching on, they see another person in there. And he spits them out and he says, "What did the man say to you?" It's a mystery. It's a mystery anime. It's got really good action. It's a Netflix exclusive. There's a lot going on. It's bonkers off the wall. I don't want to say anything, but that's what I would recommend.
Wow. When
Very
Crit
violent.
says it's so good. I tell you, asking for a synopsis of an anime never ceases to amaze me.
No.
Because as you did that, I just typed it in and I pulled up, and you literally, as you're describing it, it's about a lizard who sticks people in his mouth, and there's a screenshot of him having his mouth around someone and their face is bloody. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
That's there.
I mean, what more would you look for, really?
It gets your attention. That's for sure. So, all right. I will give that a shot, and I'll get back to you. And we'll have to check that out. I like that. Haney, what do you got?
Do you want a music or a TV show? That's
Justin,
what I
you
got.
choose. Music or TV show?
TV show.
I am rewatching Lost.
God.
Which is
Music.
Nothing against Lost. I've just been hearing about it for the past 4 weeks.
Everything against Lost. Give me a music one.
I have
you
one
like-
season left, Chris. You're almost done.
What do you?
I
What
enjoy
do you like
Lost.
about it on the rewatch? Sell me on Lost again.
Well, I don't know what you like aside from sitting in rooms and closet.
Airports.
Airports. I enjoy
airport.
the airport set.
Have you not been paying any attention,
Lost,
Henny?
Like a good probably 25% of Lost takes place in airports.
All right. All
There
right.
you go.
It's entirely about a plane. to be
Speaking my
fair.
language. Oh, I hate planes. I hate planes.
Love airports.
Forget the plane. Forget the plane.
Hate planes.
Airport.
Overrated.
Lots of airports.
Slow,
Not. I mean, yeah,
depending on where
trust
you're
him.
going.
In season 1 alone, you probably get 10 straight episodes that include shots of airports. Particularly people sitting, standing, or ordering food in airports. Occasionally making phone calls. If you're feeling a little frisky.
If you use your imagination,
I'm in an airport. I am.
phone calls are basically podcasts.
Yeah.
Pre-production. What? Prove me wrong.
Lost is a phenomenal show if you like mysteries, anything supernatural or drama. I think it has some really good acting. I think it tells a really solid, interesting story. I think that it uses really great imagery. And I understand that some people don't like a lot of the interpretations of how it ended, but I really enjoy how it ended. I think it has one of my favorite series endings of all time. I find the characters to be equal parts relatable and frustrating, which makes them more relatable because I'm like, why are you doing that, you fucking idiot? And then I'm like, oh wait, that's exactly what I would do in that situation. That's why they're doing it. They're very well written and normal. Also, 2 of the characters are going to be in the Avatar: The Last Airbender live action series on Netflix whenever that comes out.
Which characters? Or which actors?
Jin, Daniel Day Kim, and I can't remember his name, but he plays Miles later on.
Cool.
He's going to be Daniel Day Kim's going to be Firelord Ozai.
Nice.
Yeah, and the guy who plays Miles is going to be Zhao,
Cool.
Commander Zhao. Yeah.
Nice. Very cool.
Yeah.
I like it.
Some very good relationships, very good actors, very good scenes. Not everything's a winner, but I enjoy the series quite a lot.
Yeah. Interesting thing about Lost, whole show could have been resolved if people just talked to each other and told each other what they were thinking.
That is very true.
I know that most people say that's most stories, but I'm like, no, it seems like it's really people just would have been like, hey, this is going on. People would be like, oh, well, cool. I guess we're good then,
Yeah.
Because the others, why are they stealing people? If they just would have said, hey, what's up? We're already on this island. It's supposed to just nabbing people in the middle of the night. Probably wouldn't have any conflict there, but
every time.
Anyway.
Every time you're in an airport.
Every time. Justin, what do you got to recommend this week?
Chestnut. I just started watching Ozark. I'm late to the game on that, but very, very much. If you yourself are late to the game on Ozark, start watching it. I'm just finished episode 5 of season 1, and I'm into it. It's pretty good.
I hear it's a great show.
I'm digging it.
That, not Patrick Bateman. Jason Bateman, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I really enjoy him.
Yeah. He's a delight
as an actor. Yeah. That's is he a meth dealer or like mover? He or drug mover of some sort?
He's a money launderer. So he
money launderer.
Means money, yeah. But so yeah. I look at it as the Breaking Bad that happens in Missouri.
Yeah, that's kind of what I
same kind of
you're
stuck in a position that you don't necessarily want to be in anymore, but it's a lifestyle that you just don't ever really get out of. So
yeah.
Interesting. Cool.
Yeah.
So and I always think of Doug when I watch it. I'm just like,
thanks. Yeah. Ozarks is one of the cool places in Missouri. The only cool place in Missouri as far as I'm concerned.
Is it because of the drugs?
I mean,
I thought that was clear. I'm sorry.
Is that not? I mean, that's Missouri, in a nutshell. So
it's also the fact that Doug launders incredible amounts of money.
Yep.
Probably shouldn't have said that, but no one listens to this.
I mean, that's what our booking fee went towards. I assume
right?
was.
Our standard $3,000 fee. That's what it goes.
Exactly.
Worth every penny.
Doug, what do you got?
I just checked out the 3rd season of Love, Death, and Robots on Netflix, and fucking
how is that show?
Love that show. If you're not familiar with it, it is just a series of short films, and most of them are animated in some way, shape, or form. Some of them, very few of them, are funny. A lot of them are spooky and gory. Some of them are just beautiful and kind of weird. But this most recent season was excellent. I enjoyed the whole thing, and you can just burn through them real quick. They're anywhere from like 6 minutes to 20 minutes long. So some of them are just incredibly creative, and their animations. Like one in particular is a 6-minute video. It's shot like Justin. Do you remember the shot that people use that makes it look the camera where it makes it look like thing is a miniature?
The tilt shift ends.
Yeah, what I'm saying? I think it's actually like stop motion or whatever, but it's shot in that way, and it just shows the zombie apocalypse like from start to finish in 6 minutes, using that as a way of framing it. And everyone who talks has a high-pitched, squeaky voice because they're like little miniatures.
Yeah,
it's amazing. It's so entertaining, so well done. There's another one that is incredibly creepy, but I love it, where it's essentially like at sea. A sea monster attacks this crew, and it's brutal. There's stuff that deals with elder gods. There's stuff where a Scottish guy's trying to get rid of rats in his barn. It's actually heartwarming and fun. It's all over the place. And I loved every episode, so I highly recommend it. Season 3 just came out. So if you haven't seen the other 2 seasons, check them out. They're good. Highly recommend it.
Groovy.
Groovy. So we've come to the end of the show. One more time, Chris and Haney, I want to give you guys an opportunity to tell everyone where to find yourselves and or your podcast. Give everyone your shout outs. Tell them where to find your stuff.
Sorry, I'm laughing at Justin trying to.
I did the wrong screen.
Chris,
I think probably firstencounterpodcast.com is going to get you everywhere you need to be.
Yeah, it's the easiest one. We have fun. Check out our podcast, First Encounter Podcast. We're on season 2 right now. Chris is playing through The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask for the very first time. We put out new episodes every other Wednesday, unless something happens, and then in that case, they come out whenever they fucking come out. Fight me, coward.
Who are you talking to?
I don't know. Whoever's trying to fight. But yeah, right now Chris is experiencing The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask for the very first time. It's very, very fun. It's funny, it's wholesome, it's raunchy, all at once. Chris, please, I'm trying to sell our show to people. Yeah, First Encounter. Check us out.
Check
We're
them
fun.
out. Highly recommend it. Again, I enjoyed listening to. I haven't gotten caught up on the Zelda ones yet, but the Final Fantasy VII was delightful. Really enjoyed it. Please check out Chris and Haney. It's very delightful. Thank you. And please don't forget to check out Mind Gap Podcast. Obviously, online, all our socials at Mind Gap Podcast. Check us out on YouTube, youtube.com/Mind Gap Podcast. Hit the like button, smash subscribe. It's free. It helps us out a lot. Check out our links down below for links to our Discord, for our merch, for our Patreon, all that good stuff. Just make sure to check us out. We stream live on Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Central for the podcast, and I host a video game stream on Saturdays at 8 p.m. Central. I think this Saturday we might be doing some Among Us, so come check it out. We'll be playing with Mind Gap All-Stars. Come hang out. It'll be a good time. Will be had by all as you get to watch and see how bad I am at lying. It'll be real great. And please don't forget to follow, check out Justin online as well.
On Instagram and Twitter at Justin_Michael, spelled Mikel. It's the fun way of spelling it. While you're in the online realm, check us out on all the places where you can find and consume good podcasts, like Apple Podcasts and Stitcher and Spotify and Podbean and Good Pods and all that bullshit. Go ahead and subscribe to us, write, review, all the good things that we ask you to do every week. It means a lot to us. And then check out 2east8th.com and just keep an eye on all of 2east8th's social medias. We are in the casting process for the feature film that we're going to be putting into production later this year. And we might have some interesting news coming out on that front. So just keep an eye out.
That's exciting. And real quick, Justin, early on in the show, Richie wrote, off topic, but big fucking shout out to 2 East 8th. I've been checking them out today. I was blown away by what they're doing over there. So
thank you very much, Richie. We love you.
Oh.
Yeah, there we go. So once again, Chris, Annie, thank you
so much
hanging out with us tonight. This was a delight. You are always welcome back here. This was so much fun. Can't wait to see and hear more of the stuff that you guys are doing. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us. This was so much fun.
I'm so
This is
glad.
a blast.
You guys are lovely. Thank you so much. And with that being said, thank you to our guests. And of course, Justin, thank you.
Douglas, thank you.
Chat, thank you.
Listeners, thank you.
And you all have a dandy fucking week.
Mind Gap Podcast.